everyone, welcome to the accounting session. For today's discussion, we will talk about strategic cost management. At the end of this video, you will be able to define strategic cost management, differentiate the strategic cost management and traditional cost management, know the three core components of strategic cost management, describe the target costing, product lifecycle costing, just-in-time, and lastly, understand the Kaizen costing and total quality management. First, what is strategic cost management? This is the definition of strategic cost management. In understanding the strategic cost management, we must understand first the meaning of cost management. Cost management is the use of data or cost information as a tool in decision making because you want to reduce or lower your cost. That is cost management. If the cost management is used to improve the strategic position or placement of a certain entity, such as the strategies that the company has in mind, then that is strategic cost management. So let's go now to traditional cost management. When we say traditional cost management, it is used to determine the cost of making products to make profit, and it is an allocating of overhead manufacturing cost. To further understand the difference of the two, these are the information. In strategic cost management, there are three core components. The first one is value chain analysis. This helps the company to determine which type of competitive advantage to pursue and how to pursue it. It also helps company to identify factors that create or hinder cost efficiency in its business model. The second one is the strategic positioning analysis. So, in order for the company to create a competitive advantage from their competitors, they must think of a strategy. So, let's consider the cost leadership and product differentiation. When we say cost leadership, it is where the firm set out to become a lower cost producer in industry. When we say product differentiation, it is making a product that is different or unique and advantage from its competitors. By this way, this strategy makes a certain company create and gain profit. And lastly, the cost driver analysis. When we say cost driver, it is a unit of an activity that causes the change in activity cost. It is also an element of manufacturing process that may incur costs such as managerial expenses, packaging, and so on. In strategic cost management, there are two types of cost driver. These are structural cost driver and executional cost driver.
What is target costing? Target costing is a management technique in which prices are determined by market conditions as well as its several factors such as the homogeneous products, the level of competitions, and so on. When these factors enter into the picture, the management wants to keep their costs under control because they have little or no influence over the selling price. Steps in target costing approach to pricing. First step is we have to set our target selling price. Second is we have to determine our target cost. Third step is we have to estimate the actual cost of the product. And the last step is we have the comparison of estimated cost with actual cost. Next will be our steps involved in implementing a target costing system. First step is we have to create a project charter. Second is to obtain a management sponsor. Third is to obtain a budget. Fourth is to assign a strong team manager. Fifth is to enroll full-time participants. Sixth is to use project management tools. Next is the advantages of target costing. First is the innovation. It shows management commitment to process improvements and product innovation to gain competitive advantages. When the product is created from the expectation of the customer, and hence the cost is also based on similar lines, the customer feels more value is being delivered. With the passage of time, the company's operation improved drastically, creating economies of scale. The company's approach to designing and manufacturing products becomes market driven. Fourth is the real cost reduction. New market opportunities can be converted into real savings to achieve the best value for money rather than to simply realize the lowest cost.
What is product life cycle? It is the length of time where the product has been introduced to the market until the product has been out of the shelves or out of the market. There are four phases in product life cycle: the introduction, the growth, maturity, and the decline. Let's talk about the introduction. This phase is more on substantial investment in advertising, focusing on making the consumer aware of the product and its benefit. The second phase is the growth. This is the phase where the product is slowly growing as well as its demand. It also have an increase in production and expansion for its availability. The third phase is maturity. This phase is the most profitable stage while the production and marketing are declining. The cost of production has been declining because the product has been known to the market, and it's also build a consumer loyalty. For that reason, the company pay less for its advertising campaign. The last phase is decline. This is the phase where the product tend to have low price because of the competition of the other company. What is product life cycle costing? The costing method that includes all costs of product life cycle. It calculates the cost and revenue per product lifespan so that the top management can make a precise decision to ensure the company's long-term profit.
The next topic will be just in time. Here's the definition. To shorten this definition, JIT aims to ensure that inputs into production process only arrive when they are needed. And remember, JIT is a method of lean production. The next slide is about the steps involved in just in time. First, supplier evaluation. It refers to evaluating the process. Second, supplier assistant. It helps a company improve by providing a good assistance. Third, supplier information system. The firm should communicate with the suppliers to know what parts that should be delivered. Lastly, direct delivery. It is common for all. Delivering product is a must. And the next one will be the benefits associated with JIT system. Production and inventory levels. As you can see, there are some that are needs to avoid. It needs to avoid because it is a waste or dead inventory. Reduction in wastage of time. Here we must eliminate those activities that are not useful to a product to lessen the cost of the project. Reduction in scrap rates. It can identify defects and do action or do some alternative ways to resolve it. And lastly, the reduction in overhead cost. Why overhead cost greatly reduced? It is because of the two previous benefits, the reduction in inventory levels and reduction of time. Okay, next, 2 ways to resolve the problem. If your company has a problem, then here are ways to resolve it. The Kanban and working cells. Kanban card is a card that can visualize projects, identify resources, and some issues, while the working cells also help you to meet the customer demand on the said product, which is it helps your company to resolve every problems that you are encountered. And the last topic will be the performance measure in JIT. Inventory turnover, set up time reduction, customer complaints, scrap, cost of quality, customer service, ideas generated. And to sum it up, these are the ways to perform what is best in a company and ensure the success and every goal that needs to achieve, and it also helps the company develop even better.
Kaizen costing is a Japanese word which means a number of cost reduction steps that can be used to issue a new product design of the factory floor. And it refers to the ongoing continuous improvement program that focus on the reduction of waste in the production process. So when we say Kaizen costing process, these are the activities in Kaizen costing which includes the elimination of waste in production, assembly, and distribution processes. So it is designed to repeat many of the value engineering steps for as long as a product is produced. The introduction of multiple improved versions of products can be a solution to meet the challenge of gradual reduction of prices. But cost may drop to its point where margins are reduced that leads to developing a new product. Kaizen costing follow a trend line of gradually shrinking savings and also a predictable downward trend. Plotting these two trend lines into the future is a great tool on foreseeing when is the best time for new product version production. As shown in the screen is the definition of TQM or Total Quality Management. So to simplify it, is that TQM is more focused on how to prevent the production of defective units rather than to cure the symptoms of poor quality produced products. So these are the three core concepts of TQM. First is quality control. They acquire past production data and study it in order to control producing defective units again. Second is quality assurance. They see to it that all present production in place in the system are free from defects. So lastly is quality management. It is more concerned with the future outcomes of how they manage the process of improvements in the product. These are the steps to be taken in the implementation of TQM. First, we identify major customers who to prioritize. Then we ask their expectation with the food. We use that info to stay close to the customer and follow their suggestion. But at some point, there are problems that will occur or shortcomings. So we identify or perceive the problem, then compare or benchmarking where we should see the other company's status on coping with the similar problem. Then we ask for customer feedback to address the issues or the need for improvement. So lastly, that's the time we implement the quality improvement process. 6 C's for successful implementation of TQM. First is commitment. So the firm must have the support and training required to achieve their goal. Second is culture, where the practice of negative perceptions must be changed. Third is that continuous improvement, gradual improvements as long as there is always a room for improvement. Cooperation is that employee involvement is a key driver towards successful implementation of TQM. Fifth is that customer focus, where we emphasize the customer's needs. And lastly, control, documentations and awareness of best practices presently must be well managed.